Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the DrivingMaul Super Rugby Round 13 predictions. I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, and I'm always up for good rugby chat, so please do give me your thoughts and opinions down below, or tweet me back on at DrivingMaul. So, round 13. We are a long way into the competition, only 17 rounds in the regular season, so not long to go now. First up, the Chiefs host the Crusaders, another big New Zealand derby, seeing the top two from the conference take each other on. The Crusaders come back from their South Africa tour and beat the Hurricanes last time out. The Chiefs have not been looking, even though they are second and have only lost kind of like one game, I think it is, they really have not been looking as convincing a side. But they've been getting the job done, which is important. I mean, injuries have really hurt them a bit. So, but even so, I think I'm going to back the Crusaders by 3 in this one. But they could be feeling a bit knackered after that big game against Hurricanes last weekend and having just come back from tour. So that is got to be the game of the round. So do check it out on Friday night if you can see it. Next up, we have the Stormers hosting the Blues. Now the Blues have beaten all their non-New Zealand opposition, and they've lost to all their New Zealand opposition. You've probably heard me say this a few times now. The Stormers are on a bad run now of 4 losses, but you've got to remember, in those last 5 games they've played 4 New Zealand sides and the Lions, so probably the 5 best teams in the competition, and now they have to face the Blues. This is a one-match tour for the Blues, and then they're back home again next weekend and I'll be at that game. So not this weekend, but the weekend after, if you're at the Blues game, do hit me up and say hello. Anyway, I'm expecting the Blues to win this one by 3. So not entirely convincing again, but I think the Blues, as I say, they've beaten all their non-New Zealand opposition so far, and the Stormers are in a bit of a tough run at the moment. Next, the Canes host the Cheetahs. Now the Canes will be on the rebound after that loss to the Crusaders, and we're looking for a big win. The Cheetahs lost by 19 to the Blues last weekend, and the Canes are better than the Blues. So I'm backing the Canes by 25 at home in this one. Next up, we have the Force hosting the Highlanders. Now both sides doing a bit of travelling. The Highlanders coming back from South Africa and the Force coming back from Argentina. So there's going to be as much home advantage as you'd probably normally expect. And so I'm backing the Highlanders to win that one by 7. Again, they would normally win by more, but they're not really, whilst they're getting the job done, they're not really winning by big margins at the moment. So backing the Highlanders by 7. The Sunwolves then host the Sharks. I think this one is in Singapore. Now, the Sharks really need to get their season back on track. Whilst they're still sat in the playoff spaces, they've really been kept there because the Jaguares have lost their last couple of games, rather than the Sharks really cementing and demanding that playoff spot. So they do need this win, and I think they're going to win that one by about 7. The Kings then host the Brumbies. This is a real cracker of one. Yes, it is one of the sort of lesser sides in the Kings, but the Kings are now on a winning streak of 3 games. I mean, that is unheard of. Obviously seeing off the Sharks with a late try last weekend, and the Brumbies are on a losing streak, having lost their last, however many, it's now 4 games. So I'm going to back the Kings by 3. Perhaps I'm being a little bit going to get swept along by the bandwagon there, yeah, you can't be convincing about the Brumbies. Then we have the Lions hosting the Bulls. The Lions are showing themselves to be the best of the non-New Zealand sides quite comfortably. The Bulls really are a poor side this season, and having had lost Pollard, they really have nothing to show for it. So I'm backing the Lions to win quite comfortably by 14 points. They'll probably get a try bonus point as well. And then to finish the round, we have the Waratahs versus the Rebels. 2 teams that just don't know how to win. So which one is going to be the least worst? I mean, last weekend we had a similar game with Rebels hosting the Reds, and I backed the Reds because they had that bit more quality, and I'm going to do the same again this time. I think the Waratahs should win this one by 5. The Reds did have that little dead cat bounce when the whole news that they might be on the chopping block came out, and they got a win and a draw. But since then they've had a run of 3 losses, and so I think we're going to see Tatars pick up a win there, and that should put pressure on the Brumbies and the Brumbies will know that, and they'll be looking. So that Kings Brumbies game will become important, as the Tars can close the gap on the Brumbies at the top of the Australian Conference. So, thank you for watching. It's my birthday in a couple of days, so if you fancy sending me something, get in touch, or even give me a job. You know what? Some work would be nice. So anyway, so I'll be old in a couple of days, so older. Yep, looking forward to that. And please do sign up for my newsletter. The link is above on Twitter, down below on YouTube. Share this with your friends, get their views on my predictions, and give it the old thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you very much. I will be back tomorrow with my Aviva Premiership and Pro 12 semi-final playoff predictions, and look out for Thursday, when it'll also be my birthday, so hey, maybe there'll be a special video. You never know. So, thanks for watching, and catch you all tomorrow.